Moreover, I lack a talent for unpremeditated murder. Instead, I said, "Seth Parsegian, would you like to come in?" I did not offer my hand. He nodded, grinned. I would have recognized that smile after much longer than 27 years, and stepped through into the hallway of gray slate. He stared around me. "I wondered if you'd recognize me," he said. "Where are the kids?" "They are away in Sligo, and they will be gone for 2 days. Furthermore, I cannot believe that you are unaware of that fact." He winked. "Could be. Not very smart of me, eh? Coming here alone, nobody else around. Might be dangerous, but I don't think it will be. You and me, we got too much to offer each other." That short exchange told me several things. He knew about my darlings, and I must assume that he had possessed the information for some time, and he could not be the only one with knowledge of my whereabouts. Seth Parsegian merited several unpleasant adjectives, but stupid was not one of them. His best insurance was that I would realize others knew where he was and would pursue me implacably if he failed to return. He was also telling me, very clearly, that the reason for his presence was not to recapture the infamous child murderer Dr. Oliver Guest and return him to the blind cave of centuries of judicial sleep. He was here because he needed something from me. Otranto Castle is, as castles go, of mean proportions. The short entrance hallway leads to the long dining room, and off to one side of it lies my private study. "Come in," I said, and led the way there. "Come in and sit down." As I poured whiskey and put the pitcher of peat water beside it, I studied my visitor. My first thought, that he was here because the telemod therapy was failing, did not bear up under examination. Seth Parsegian appeared no older now than when I had last seen him, over a quarter of a century ago. If anything, he was healthier. But if it were not the telemods, what could I possibly have to offer that might guarantee my continued freedom and safety? He was examining me as closely as I scrutinized him. "Looking good." He raised his glass. "Here's to the Oliver Guest telemod protocol. Been taking it yourself, haven't you?" It was not a question that required an answer. I also appeared no older than at our last meeting. The mystery was that everyone did not employ the protocol. The teradomorphic potential, I suppose, frightened many. Speaking for myself, it interests me little what I may resemble at my death. "How did you know that I was still alive?" I asked. "I was pretty sure you weren't killed in the fire. The body we found had dentures, but I didn't have evidence that you weren't dead and rotting until 11 years ago." A most comforting statement. He had known of my existence for 11 full years, and I was still a free man. "How did you learn that I was living and where I could be found?" "Oh, through the kids," he said casually. So much for all my precautions. "I figured you'd find a hiding place and lie low for as long as you could stand, but eventually you'd not be able to resist. You'd get around to cloning them. I knew that if you did it one at a time, I'd never find you, but you did all 18 too close together. I had a long-term screen on the data net for that type of anomaly, and it popped right up with the first 6. Starting 11 years ago. Right. Seth picked up on my unasked question. "So why haven't I turned you in? You can answer that as well as I can." "Because I'm a specialist in telemod therapy, and if I were to be placed again into long-term judicial sleep, you would have no access to my knowledge." I knew what Seth apparently did not. Although a pioneer